My message is simple today. Huey Newton said, you can scream revolutionary, but you cannot scream a revolution. And what I was saying, I made a video before this, but the video got messed up. What I was saying was, when you got people out here, they engaging in behaviors that's detrimental to blacks and other minorities. Then they say they complain about the conditions and stuff that's being done and the stuff that's happening to the blacks. So I said, well, how can you complain about what's being done to the blacks and stuff that's happening when you engage in behaviors that's detrimental to them? So it don't add up. So a lot of people, like I said in my last video before it was cut off and messed up, I was telling the people that whether knowingly or unknowingly, people become friends with people who engage in behaviors that's detrimental to blacks. And then you got a group of niggas, a group of people that get together and they become similarly minded. And when you're a child, you get influenced by the society in which you live in. And those influences shape and mold your brain for adulthood, for your entire life. And a lot of times what people are doing, whether knowingly or unknowingly, is being shaped and molded to hate a black people. Even Pastor Ray Hagan said it. Now this is a learned man. He's a doctor. Learned man, highly educated, and he agreed on this way of thinking. And he agreed that about what I'm about to say too. So when you got a system of government which operates as somebody got to fill the prisons, somebody got to fill the jails, and you got a system of government that operate to fill it with niggas. My thing was, I never said all niggas needed to be free. I never said that. I just said more of you white people need to be put in that motherfucker. And the reason is because you engage in the same behaviors that the blacks engaging in, but the system that be is letting you get away with the stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I would think, since somebody got to fill the prisons, if some of you white people with these professional jobs started snitching on your friends, families, and associates and shit, started getting their asses jammed up for this shit, a lot more could be done. And what you screaming will come to fruition. But shit can't be done because the way you conduct yourself by allowing these people to engage in this behavior and allowing the minorities to be disproportionately targeted by the system that you support and uphold, by the friends and shit that you support and uphold, it's just wrong. So you equivalent to a person saying, I don't eat meat. I don't like what's being done to animals, how animals be slaughtered and stuff. And I don't eat meat, but you support McDonald's. You support Burger King. You got stock invested in McDonald's. You got stock invested in Burger King. You got stock invested in steakhouses, but you're a vegetarian, don't like what's being done to animals and stuff. And that's what the fuck y'all doing now. That's what a lot of y'all whites is doing. So if you was to feel, and like I said before, myself personally, I don't even hang around these people every day. I could give people, the police, evidence on at least 200 whites. This is professional jobs. Whites that could lose their jobs and be in prison for felony drug trafficking charges. Felony, not misdemeanor. But because the status quo has to be sustained, these convictions, these loss of jobs and shit, that shit never come about because the status quo has to be maintained. So whether conscious of it or not, by you not saying nothing, by you not reporting your friends, family, coworkers and stuff, you keeping the system that you talking about so bad, you keeping it operating, keeping it standing, and keeping it operating in the way that's detrimental to blacks. And that's what I was telling people, not to disproportionately try to target whites, because I say white people, but it's to bring attention to what's going on, and it's the only demand. equal justice under the law, equal protection of the law for all. Because ain't no way in hell you got these white people doing this shit, engaging in this behavior, and you ain't cracking down on them. Then when you see a black person doing it, you crack down on them. I ain't say to be, but see what goes on is when it start happening and attention start being brought to the whites that's engaging in this behavior, then the whites say, well, nah, we shouldn't recognize this behavior as illegal no more. We should recognize it as acceptable standards in society. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on. That's what's going on. You know, so if you really want to help the people, I tell the whites, instead of marching the street, just go report your coworkers and your friends and stuff that engage in that behavior. You know what I'm saying? And I said it in my last video, it's easier to take down a corrupt politician than it is to lock up a drug dealer in the hood. Because law enforcement and politics are all tied in one. The law enforcement already got the direct evidence on the corruptness of this politician. So if this politician ain't advocating and furthering what it is that you stand for, then you organize you and your friends and take his ass out for corruption charges. Because all politics are corrupt in one way or another. You could get a quid pro quo on any motherfucking body. You could get a quid pro quo on any politician in this damn country. You could prove it. I could prove it, and I don't even hang around them. So if I could prove it, you could prove it. You can prove it. It's in the paper trail, especially nowadays you can. With all technology and shit, it's easier to prove it. Quid pro quo. You know? So that's what I was telling people. So if you really want to make change, then you should start doing that. But they'll never do it. Why? Because they want to uphold their way of doing stuff. They want their system to stay in place. So on the outside, they scream, we want to help the niggas. But on the inside, they really don't want to help the niggas. They want to sustain their way of life, their comfort. Because I know just as well as anybody else, if you crack down like you're supposed to, and if you report what you're supposed to do, then you will see change overnight. But what you got happen a lot of times is you got very few people in government positions being rounded up in masses. What they do is they take pot shots. You know, they get one or two here, you know. But that's just the people who are no longer part of the in crowd. They're no longer part of the in crowd. So the in crowd changes. The it niggas. The I'm the shit niggas. The in crowd changes from time to time. It often does. Yeah, it did. So, and that's all that's going on. These people in power, so one or two got to go down to make the system look right, because we can't say that everybody is law-abiding angels.